Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thursday podcast on the LNP Event Sound forum. We're actually recording this on the Friday before because, as many people on the forum, we're live at Black Country Radio. With me, as always, it does seem like we go around together a lot at the moment, whether it's on Zoom or live, is Mr. Spicer. Good afternoon, Paul. How are we?
Very well, and this is how rumours start.
And also, we're very privileged to have been invited here by Steve Parker, who's with us in the room. Good afternoon, Steve. How are we?
Hi, Ben. Okay, so far.
Yeah, brilliant. So we're here to promote the events industry, help people out of the difficult situation. And what we intend to do during the day is give you a bit of behind the scenes look at it. You've obviously heard what's on the radio, but there's going to be a lot going on behind the scenes, and we intend to give you some info about what's going on as well. And unfortunately, there'll be no official Paul roundup as we do normally, Paul, because I guess you know what's going to happen next week, do you?
No, I'm not a psychic, unlike Paul Newton.
So Paul Newton, if you can, let us know what went on last week, we'd be grateful. So we've just completed our first hour in Black Country Radio of the two we're on this afternoon. We've had some great news from the presenter, Steve, is that we're 2 seconds ahead of schedule, Steve.
2 seconds.
2 seconds, and apparently that's pretty good as respects to international news. Paul,
Hello.
why are we here? What is the benefit to the events industry?
So the idea is to get our wider message across to people who might not realise what's going on, they might not understand the rules, the regulations, the fact that a lot of our businesses can't operate, can't open, can't function. Whereas they might think that generally, business is back and business is booming. That is not the case for our industry, and that we've got this for many months to come. So we want to make people understand, educate them about how we are basically trying to all pull together and keep the events industry alive.
And Steve, you just brought up a pertinent point about getting people, the public, back into events, which is the key, isn't it? Consumer confidence.
Yeah, we just need to build that confidence and realise that conditions are safer than ever. And you need to, whether it's mentally or physically, you need to go out and start meeting people and being in contact with them and keeping the entertainment industry going well.
And of course, the radio station is in the entertainment industry, isn't it? Which is why you were keen to cover today.
Well, we try to. We try and be amusing occasionally, even if the jokes aren't very good. But yes, it's very much part of that. We need people to get involved, and we needed to keep communities together like you guys are trying to do.
It is, and this is the next step, isn't it, Paul, for the events industry? And of course, the next big step is the conference.
It is indeed. That's the next big thing coming up in a few weeks. But this is a nice prelude to it.
We've got to go now because Steve's about to go into the news.
On your mobile.
Perfect timing, Paul.
It was, wasn't it?
Straight into the news there. So, Paul, first now we've been through a lot of the emotional parts with these people on the Zoom. We've been into how people suffered originally. In the second half, now we're going to pick up the pace and go into positivity, aren't we? And how people have adapted. We are rather an adaptable industry, aren't we?
We are. I think that proves in the way we've been able to do things, the way that companies have changed, pivoted, started selling different things, doing the same sort of services but in a different way, whether it be online or socially distanced. We're a very clever bunch of people at the end of the day.
Well, we have to be. I mean, we have to be quick-witted on site a lot of the times, don't we? I mean, the events that we do, there's so much on site that goes on and we need adapting due to the circumstances, the weather. We have to be on the button, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff to consider with an event in general, but now with the whole COVID things, distancing and spacing, everything else, everything has to be sanitised, and how you can move people around in a one-way direction it's adding about twice as much work onto top of any event organisers or events people. But we are seeing that people can do it and are doing it well.
And of course, we're sat here watching Steve just in case he has to go into a link here, aren't we? Which is fascination.
Which is with his fingers poised over the buttons. So.
I know, yeah, we don't get much of a notice, so if we suddenly have to cut off a conversation, you know why. But it's fascinating to be here and talking to one of the largest regions for events, because the Black Country people love being out and they love being at these events and partaking.
Yeah, I mean, to think how many events would have taken place, how many festivals, carnivals, fetes, just for the outdoor aspects of it. Think about all the other things, the theatre shows, stuff like Dudley Town Hall and all that area. They've not been able to put any shows. And so much stuff. It's probably hundreds of thousands of shows, within the Dudley and surrounding areas that could have happened, that have not taken place, and many people might not have even realised that. And
bringing it to the radio station, that of course affects revenues in the radio station, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You need a thriving economy, and the people behind the radio station do a lot of outdoor road shows and things. And has all that bit. It's good to let us out of the studio occasionally.
It's a massive knock-on effect to everybody in the industry. Massive knock-on. But we're going to have to cut it there and come back to you later on, guys, because we're about to go on again, I think, for the third half hour. Have we really just done a link about dogs?
We have just done a link about dogs.
Wow, this forum knows no bounds, does it?
No, and I hope the dogs were listening, because otherwise that was a bit pointless, but there you go.
And Claire's horse last week.
And
Claire's horse. Hopefully Claire's horse is listening.
Hopefully Claire's listening to the podcast as well. There you go. This forum knows no bounds, guys. But we will get, when we get the file off, we will make sure that we get the clips of the animals' names and you can play them back to the heart's content.
We're going to do a montage, I think.
A montage, yeah. Zoom call. Actually, the next Zoom call, just the animals.
I'm not sure how that would work.
You can just listen to the amount of fun we're having. And
just barking.
We're all barking.
Incoherently.
It's called the events industry, guys.
I'm recording.
Okay, so me and Paul just had a conversation about pressing record, just to let everybody know. Technical difficulties run by myself there. But Paul, we've just had Kylie introduce her own song, haven't we?
Very nice. She popped in very quickly to do a 5-second intro for a new single that's out now.
Very busy lady, obviously introducing all these herself. Paul, we've had a great day, and it is important we're here today and boost the industry.
Yeah, definitely so. I think very kind of Steve to have us on for 2 hours of his 3-hour show, and thanks to all the panel again for doing all this. But yeah, we're getting the message out there, and hopefully there's lots of people listening, or people listening on catch up. But you just got to keep getting this message out there in whatever way we can.
The interesting thing for me, Paul, is watching the people on Zoom, knowing they have a conversation. We've probably been mentioned quite a bit in there.
We probably are, but luckily we can't hear what we're saying, so hopefully it's saving our bacon.
It is, yeah. But obviously what we'll do, this podcast is to play a few of the clips from the show, but mainly to show you behind the scenes and just to give a few of the highlights of the show, because we are very thankful for Steve, and we just think that promoting Black Country Radio for everything they're doing for us is vital, because at the end of the day, they are part of our industry, and it is important that we do back them. I know there's many ways you can back a radio station, isn't there, Paul?
There is indeed. You can sponsor them, you can contact the studio, find out more. I'm sure you can help them in one way or another.
And send cakes in, Steve, yeah?
Sorry?
Send cakes in for the presenters.
Always. Every Friday.
Friday at 1.
Friday at 1, send cakes.
If you can't make it the rest of the time, between 1 and 4 on a Friday, cakes will always be appreciated.
So Paul, we've had a great day here, haven't we, today, and done a lot for the events industry, I think.
We have indeed. It's just the start, I think. We should hopefully do more of this and all the other things that we're putting into the group and hopefully getting out to get our message across.
And we'd like to thank Steve very much, Steve. Really appreciate you accommodating us today.
Pleasure, good to have you and all the people on Zoom as well, being good.
Thank you very much. And what we're going to do is, obviously, you've heard a few highlights on the podcast today. To hear the whole conversational part of the show, please do go to the LNP Event Sound Forum podcast. Please do go to the LNP Event Sound Forum on Facebook, where the conversation site will be uploaded. And there may be a few of these bits in, Paul, where we've had a bit of fun behind the scenes.
I'm sure we can do that. We can make that happen.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, all this podcast is two lads messing around, really, talking to people.
It is.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.